because
Yeah, go ahead.
I had with a couple buddies a couple months ago. We were talking about the vacuum in space, and because you just said there's no friction in space. How does that work though? Because like I've done some zero friction vacuum container type experiments when I was in high school, and things would not budge in the vacuum.
Yeah.
You know, like you can bust open a Sprite can in a vacuum and it'll burst, but the can will kind of sit there. The only thing, but the difference is because it's still under the influence of the local gravity. It's just the gravity is outside of that chamber. But I was wondering, like, how does that gas or that propulsion actually work in the vacuum of space? How does one actually create that to get that to influence that movement? Because we've seen it in movies where somebody will bump somebody out in space and all of a sudden they're floating off into the void. But that's not how that will work. I would imagine
it works exactly the same way. There's nothing to stop you.
But I'm saying, like, if we were both, if you push against me with this force, we would move apart at equal force because there's nothing stopping. I'm not stopping you, no matter how much I want to stop you from pushing me. We both will just do like this and just float apart, right?
Yeah,
because we're in a vacuum of space. So wouldn't that? That's what I'm trying to understand, because that's physical contact. But with gas, how would that work? If we're using gas or fuel in general to kind of generate that type of force, what is that pushing against? What is that?
So, and I'll use this example right here, right? So I'm assuming you're in a chair with wheels, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then push off your desk.
All right, I get that part.
So now,
but I'm pushing
you're not
the desk.
Right, but the desk is also pushing against you.
Yeah.
So you're only moving backwards because you exerted more force against the desk than the desk exerted force on you.
Absolutely.
So your net direction is going backwards.
Right.
So now, if you replace your chair with rocket and replace the desk with fuel, then you have propulsion in space. And what really happens is we have some type of ignition process, right? You got to spark up this plasma fuel to push us, the fuel. You got to ignite the fuel. But the fuel is actually excited particles. So if you have trillions and trillions of excited particles pushing against this chamber that is now only open to one side,
I got you.
The gas has to escape only to one side. And so it's going to push against the rest of the rocket and push you forward.
Object in the force. I got you.
So that's how we're using propulsion in space, right? And so it's really controlling the direction of how that gas comes out.
Yep.
How does that gas come out determines the direction and the speed that you're going. And so it's actually really simple. The hard part is, well, how much fuel do you need?
Mm.
How much fuel can you spend on one burst, right? How many bursts can you do?
All right.
Well, how long are each one of these bursts? So now it becomes a little bit more complicated when you're talking about fuel economy.
Yeah.
But the top of